Okay, it is now 10 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I'm so happy to see y'all coming back. I see a lot of names that we've seen throughout these sessions, and I'm really happy that y'all are coming back and y'all are finding these sessions helpful. Today we're going to be looking at the collaboration side of Microsoft Teams. How you can use it to effectively and be productive with your team. Just a couple of announcements before we get started. If you've been with us before, you've probably heard these. If you have any questions, please pop them into the chat window as you think of them, and we'll answer all of them at the end when we do our Q&A portion. Today's session is being recorded, so if you miss something or you need to step away or you want to go back and rewatch something, you can. I put the recordings on our website, usually the same day as the session. So sometime this afternoon, the recording of today's session will be uploaded. I also put any and all questions asked and their answers on our website. So if you maybe hear the question but didn't catch the answer, that's okay. They'll be on there as well. And I can give you that link in the chat box at the end of this training. But you can also find it if you go to our website, firstcallhelp.tamu.edu, and you click on the new user training banner or new user training in the top right, or if you just search new user training on our site. We've made it pretty easy to find those materials. Another reminder, Skype for Business will be going away July 31st of this year, and WebEx will be going away August 31st. Microsoft is retiring Skype for Business, so that's not anything that AIT has done. That's Microsoft. And everything that WebEx can do, we have found that Teams can do. And we already pay for Teams. It's included in our Microsoft license, and so it's not an additional cost. So that's why we really want to provide as much material, training, information, tools as we can to help you get used to Microsoft Teams, which is what we think is the solution to no longer having those two programs. So we're going from the two separate programs that you have to learn down to just one, which is Teams, which is a all-in-one solution. And I'll show you what I mean by that later on in the morning. So like I said, we're going to be focusing on how to collaborate with Microsoft Teams. If you want to learn some tips and tricks on how to effectively communicate in Teams, please check out the recording from Tuesday on our website. Just a little breakdown. This is what today is going to look like. The majority of the morning is going to be spent looking at Teams, but I do want to start with a little quick intro and show you some of the functions you can use to collaborate. We'll have a question and answer portion where I'll answer all of your questions. So again, remember, if you have a question at any point, please type it in the chat. Once we've answered all of your questions, I'll wrap up with some reminders and the dates and topics for next week's sessions. Okay, so a lot of y'all probably remember pre-COVID, if you were trying to collaborate with a team, you probably spent a lot of time in conference rooms, you did a lot of in-person meetings, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails with a file attached, then you'd download a file, then you'd make your edits, then you'd send it back and repeat. And it just kept going on and on until both people or your entire group got the file edited to a point where everyone was happy with it. Lots of emails, lots of different versions of one file, lots of back and forth, right? Some of y'all may have started to use OneDrive and file sharing. Some of y'all may have been on network drives, which you had to map, and if you weren't in your office, you had to have additional software or a VPN connection to access them. So you had hurdles to go through just to be able to work on your documents, right? Well, COVID kind of really forced a lot of IT departments to come up with a solution that would allow their people to continue to work together and be productive without interruption and without being in the same room or even the same building together. So that's where Teams comes in. We had a lot of folks started using, Slack, Zoom, WebEx for their meeting needs, but Microsoft said, no, we want a program that does it all. We don't just want a program that does meetings and chats. So Teams really went hardcore on the collaboration features. Just even looking at their communications methods, you can host or attend video conferences, you can message in chats, one-on-one all the way up to 250 people. You can make edits on a document that 12 other people are working on. You can see what their contributions or changes are. You can store, you can share, you can receive files, all in the same window on your computer. It's all right there in one place. Teams is essentially a hub designed for collaboration. And all of the functions here on the screen can be done within Teams on the same screen. So all within Teams. I'll explain co-authoring in the demo, but I do want to go over some of these since some can be a little bit difficult to show. And also, I kind of want to pique your curiosity and kind of get you to go and explore Teams on your own. So the multi-device access means that you can use Teams on just about anything: desktops, laptops, tablets. Alan's actually going to show y'all Teams on a smartphone this coming Tuesday. You can use the Teams app, or you can use Teams in a web browser. I'll go over tabs. I'll go over the Team OneNote in the demo. Tasks by Planner is an app that is available for us to use in Teams that allows you to create task lists and set reminders, attach files, set due dates. You can assign specific tasks to people, and is just very helpful for project management. Screen sharing is a really cool feature, especially if you and someone are working on the same thing but aren't in the same place, but maybe you need to review it together, or maybe you need to come to a consensus on whatever it is you're reviewing. Screen sharing allows one of you to share your screen to the other person and let them see what you see. So maybe you're trying to explain what you're seeing, but you're not getting it across with words. You can just simply share your screen and they can see what's going on. This is really handy if maybe you're troubleshooting your WordPress site and you're seeing something but someone else isn't. You can simply share your screen and say, this is what I'm looking at, this is the problem, and they can go, okay, let's see what we need to do. I know I've used it during COVID. We needed to provide credit card information for a purchase, and our business coordinator and I were both working from home, and I was able to share my screen with her, give her control, and she was able to enter the credit card info. Easy process. Neither one of us had to come up to the office just to get a physical credit card. Super easy. It's actually very similar to TeamViewer. If y'all have ever contacted our first call service desk and had them remote into your computer to assist you, very, very similar. Okay, demo time. I want to preface this by saying that if y'all were with us on Tuesday, Teams is going to look different today. Okay. Oops, there we go. We had some feedback that it was really hard to see what I was doing in the dark theme and on my screen, which is a curved monitor. So I apologize for that, and we've switched back to the default. So there's now a light gray background and black text. The screen is also different. So when I send an email this afternoon asking for y'all's feedback, please let me know if this was helpful or not. That way we can kind of improve y'all's experience during these sessions. All right, so I am first going to start with post here. All right, so this is a relatively new channel, so there hasn't been very much activity in here. But I do want to start out with posts. So you have two types of posts, and I'm going to click New Conversation down here. And I'm going to click this little format button because that actually is where you're going to get your post types. And if I click next to New Conversation, I get a drop down that has New Conversation and Announcement. Maybe I just need to share information. I don't really need to collect any responses. So I'll choose Announcement, and I'll type something like query closed Friday. And then I can go ahead and send it. Oops. Where's my message? There it is. Okay. See? Super easy. This doesn't require any kind of a dialogue. I'm just, passing that information around. I'm making sure everyone in my team knows what's going on. Okay. But maybe I need to get a message to someone specific. I can go in here. I go back in here. Yep, New Conversation. It's not an announcement. New Conversation. And maybe I'm looking for specific information or a call to action to someone. I can go in and I can do that. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the person I need this mileage report from knows that. So I'm going to go in and ask Alan for it. And maybe I need it like by a specific date and time. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I've posted that, and I've added a mention to Alan on here, and we talked about mentions on Tuesday, right? So awesome. All right, so now Alan knows that I need that report. He's acknowledged that he's going to work on it and get it done. All right, so next is going to be tabs, and that's really what these are right here, your post files and this little plus button right here. You can add all kinds of tabs. There we go. A little bit slow this morning. You can add all kinds of tabs, some that are native to Teams, like you've got your websites, like I said, Tasks by Planner up here, OneNote, Wiki, Stream, Whiteboard. You have all sorts of native tabs in here, but you also have some third-party down here that are pretty helpful. You've got a Creative Cloud one in here. You've got you got your Yammer communities. You've got some different ones in here that are very, very helpful, and you can add them to your team. What I'm going to do is a little bit of a shameless plug here, and I'm going to add I always mess that part up. Okay, I don't have to post to the channel about this tab. I'm not in this case. That is a valid URL. we go. Okay. So like I said, you can kind of add everything, but this one is going to be a little bit of a kind of highlight our site. So you can add something like maybe you want a tech support tab. You could add our website up here. And everything on our site works just like it would in your browser. So your team would have access to our contact information right here, all within Teams. Another tab that we have is our live chat tab. It actually has its own tab on our channels where we can see who's waiting on a response, how long they've been waiting, or if someone's replied to them, we can make sure that we stay on top of those chats and we can be as responsive and effective for y'all. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this files tab right here. And this is essentially, it's a file repository. It's where you can house all of the folders and files that your team needs to access, okay? You can share you can change the view of the list, which is this default, which is just it's a list. You can go in here and you can change it to tiles if you needed to. Whatever is the easiest for you to function. From this one screen, I can create a new document. I could go in here and do like an annual report. Wow, I'm not doing good with caps lock today. Or spelling. We're just going to put report. Okay. And it's going to pull up a Word doc for me. See? And if you'll notice the ribbon up here, it's actually pretty similar to if you open up just the Word app down here. Your ribbon is pretty similar. It's a little bit smushed, but it's pretty much the same. So I'm going to close out of that. One of the other things is you can upload an entire folder, so you're not having to sit there and upload file by file, individually. I can go in here and I can upload an entire folder worth of documents. So if I go over here, go to my desktop, I can grab this folder right here. And it's going to upload that folder and its contents. Okay, just like that. We'll go back in here. And we will go into Fred's reports here. You'll also notice these little buttons up here. So again, you can go click up here. You can add all of these. These are the ones that are built in. You can add other file types, but these are the ones that are built in. They're kind of like a shortcut, if you will. Like I did earlier, you can upload files or folder. You can even sync your Teams file down to your computer if you really wanted to. You could do that. You can grab links. So if you need to share the link to this particular folder right here or one of these files, you could. You absolutely could do that. If you needed to download something, you could do that as well. You can actually make a document a tab. So if you have something that your team uses frequently, you actually could go in here and make it a tab, make it really easy for them to get to. See, just like that. Okay. So like I said, you can put all kinds of files in here. The ones under new they're just simply shortcuts to, like the native Office 365 files. But you can store something like, it's over 300 different file types in here. You've got your basics, your Word doc, your Excel, workbooks and CSVs and things like that, your PowerPoints, image files like your PNGs, your JPEGs, your GIFs, even your TIFFs. You can actually even add Illustrator and Photoshop files, your videos, your MOVs, MP4s, things like that. I know I put entire Camtasia project files in here, and that's acceptable. Again, over 300 file types. I don't think that I could name 300 file types. I just know that anything that I've put in here has been fine. Okay, so OneNote. We have a OneNote in here specifically for this channel. You could actually do a 4-hour session on OneNote and still not cover everything that you can do in OneNote. It's a lot. But OneNote kind of lets you throw all of your ideas into one place that everyone can access, and then you can process. You have very few limitations with OneNote. You can go in here and do all of the formatting you want, or none. That's, your preference. It's got a similar ribbon up here to Word up until you get kind of like right here. That's where it starts to differ. But you can do, your normal lists. You can add tags to lists, and it's a very long list of tags that you can add. And that also helps with project management. Maybe you don't want to go the task, the planner route. Maybe this suits you better. You have so many options in here to keep yourself kind of organized and on track. There's a dictate function in here as well. So you can go in and it'll do kind of a speech to text. You can insert a bunch of stuff in here as well. Tables, files, pictures, URLs. If you needed to add an audio file, like maybe you were working on something that needed a music track behind it and you found one, you could actually put that in here. Meeting details. If you needed someone to fill out a form, you could put that in here as well. And this does have a draw function. So maybe you're trying to create a visual and you know what it looks like in your head, but you're not sure how to make it. You can draw it in here and go from there. Okay. So we're going to close OneNote here. And we are going to go into co-authoring here. All right. Okay, so Alan and Fred are working on this new employee orientation PowerPoint. Maybe they've done a Teams meeting. They've created this PowerPoint that they're wanting to use to help their train their new employees. So first off, we can see that Alan is already in here. We can see that he's on slide 1, and he's up here. He's got a little blue circle around his name, or his picture up there, sorry. Okay, so again, I want to point out, this looks pretty similar up here, this ribbon, to if you just have PowerPoint open. It looks pretty similar. And you do have the ability to go straight from here and open in your desktop PowerPoint app if you prefer that. So we're going to start with comments up here. So on slide 2, Fred has added a comment that he thinks something needs to be part of first day orientation. All right. He thinks they need to add safety guidelines. Well, Alan disagrees. So Alan is going to reply to Fred's comment and tell him, there we go. So Alan replied to Fred and said, yeah, not sure I agree. That's okay, but there's still, some dialogue on. And this is going to stay over here. Oh, see, Alan's got more to say. So Alan thinks that those should be first month materials. Okay. Now there's also, you can also have a conversation in here. There we go. So this is a very similar chat function as you have outside of your apps, your files, I'm sorry. Very similar to this one over here, except that your conversation here is concentrated. It is, you know, whatever is said while you're working on this file. So your conversation is more than likely going to be just on this file. It's not going to be a general whatever's going on. Okay. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to ask Alan if he thinks maybe the order is right, maybe it's wrong. Is the order right? Like that. And it looks like Alan has already moved down and is kind of working on something else here. Okay, so we got a reply. He says he thinks the order is wrong. So let's see if he's gonna correct the order. There we go. Okay, so now you can actually see that Alan has changed the order of these three slides. So you can see their changes in real time, which is really, really cool. And then you can see where they go from there if they're still on that slide or if they change slides or, you know, something like that. And it looks like Alan is actually working on the first day slide here. Okay. All right. So let's say that we absolutely could not use this PowerPoint for new employee orientation, but let's say we're done for right now. We're gonna go work on a different file. So I'm gonna close out of here. And me closing out or me leaving that file does not kick Alan out or anything like that. It just means that I'm no longer working in that file. So maybe that isn't, you know, your jam. Maybe you prefer to work on documents by yourself, and you don't want others working on something while you're working on it. That's okay. Teams actually has a function for that. It's called, you know, it's called checking in or checking out a document. You still want people to be able to access this file and modify it, just not when you're working on it. So just like a book at a library, if people still do that, you can go up here and you can click these three little dots and you have all of these different options down here. To check out, you're going to click on more and then you'll click check out here. Okay. Okay, and I'm actually going to check it back in because I want Alan to check it out. And I'm not going to do any comments this time. Okay. So we're going to have Alan check that mileage report out. All right. So you're going to get a little error message if somebody else has checked out this file over here. And it's going to tell you it's checked out. And it's going to give you kind of this weird little chain, but it's going to tell you who has it right now, right? So I can see that Alan has it checked out, which means I can't go in there and make changes. I can't edit it. There we go. That's what I was waiting on. And there's a little icon that shows up when a file is checked out. That way you know that it's checked out. Okay, so we're going to have Alan check it back in. There it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to check it out, or Fred is going to check it out. All right, so now while I'm in it, that means nobody else can make changes, nobody can even open it. All right. Okay, so let's say this is the mileage report that we needed Alan to do. Okay, he's filled it out, and all I'm going to do is approve it. Again, look at that ribbon. It's almost identical to your desktop app ribbons. And again, you're going to have comments, you're going to have your conversation. Those are available in all of your Office programs in here. Okay. All right, so all I had to do was approve it. I'm going to close it. Eventually. There we go. Okay, now I have closed it, but I have not checked it back in. So even though I am no longer in that mileage report, nobody else can edit it. So, you have to remember to always check your file back in. Otherwise, it's still locked essentially from everybody else. So same thing, I'm going to come down here to more. And I have two options. I have the ability to check it back in, which is really what you want to do, or I have the ability to discard the checkout. Now, what that means, if I click on it, and what that means is it's going to essentially erase everything that you did while you had the file checked out. So to be honest, I don't know why you would really ever want to do this. But fortunately, Teams has built in this little confirmation screen. Are you sure you want to do this? Because you're going to lose all of your work if you discard the checkout. I'm going to hit no because I don't. I approved the report. So I'm going to go back over here to check in, and you can add comments. You can do whatever needs to be, whatever you need to do to let others know what was done while you had it checked out. So I just approved it, so I'm just going to hit check in. Okay, see, and then when you get this over here, it tells you, yep, you're done. You've checked it in. It's now available for everybody else to open up. Okay. All right, so a couple more things in here. Whenever a file is modified by someone, this over here is going to change. It's going to change to whoever last edited the file. So like you see over here, this PowerPoint was actually created by Fred, but the last one that edited it was Alan. That's why his name is in there. It'll let you know when it was modified and who it was modified by. So you always have a updated view of what's going on. Okay. You do also have a couple more things in here. You do have some the ability to meet from here. That's more of a communication thing, but I believe someone asked that question in Tuesday's training, if you always had to go to your calendar to schedule a meeting, and no, you can go to your channel and you can click meet up here and either schedule a meeting or hit that meet now if you're all ready to meet. Okay. All right, we're going to go back over here. See, all of these things have changed, have all changed, so you can see when they were last modified. Okay. So we've created a new file. We've uploaded a folder with a week's worth of reports. We've approved a report. We've kind of worked on a PowerPoint. We've checked out a document. We've made some changes in there. We've approved a report that was in there. We've checked it back in. I think that maybe we're about done for the day. All right. So I think everything is just moving a little bit slow today. It's Thursday. All right. So went a little bit faster than I planned on. Do we have any questions so far? Oh, my goodness. Okay. Looking at the chat window and that, yeah, okay. Okay. So Corey asks, can the Teams calendar be synced with the Outlook calendar? Okay, so yeah, just like what Alan said, the Teams calendar is the same as your Outlook calendar. So your Outlook calendar will look the same as your Teams calendar. Okay, and Billy asked, how secure is data within a team? I'm sorry, Bill. So Alan said, same as network drives, only those who have access to the team or the channel within a team can access the posts or the files. Yeah. Okay, and Selena asks, are my tabs visible to the entire team, or is this something for me to reference? In a team, everyone can see everything, everyone that you have added to the team. So there is some transparency here in Teams. So if you add a tab, your entire team can see that tab.
Bailey, we have a new question from Brent that just came in, wanting us to go over calendar creation. Bill or Brent, did you mean specifically like how to create a calendar event in Teams? Maybe we show that real quickly, Bailey, if you can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you want to go over like a new.
More so a shared calendar for the team or channel. Oh, he's specifically asking about creating channel within a calendar within the team or the team.
Where's the shared calendar? Over calendar creation. Okay, so let's go in here. Okay. Okay. So Brent, are you talking about like shared events? Like if we were to do. Go back in here. Place to put dates of programs or events. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So if you were to do a new event that included your entire team, you would just go in and you could add the attendees, or you could go in here and add like an actual team. Oh. Okay. So you could actually go in here and just add your entire team. Now, that does not mean that they have to, it's not necessarily the right way to put this. When you do that new meeting, it doesn't necessarily have to be for a Teams meeting. You're just creating like the event on the calendar. If you have a list of events that you need to share with your team, you would just invite them. Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, I think I know what he's after on this. Let me paste a link in here for you, Brent. This link here kind of explains how to add a group or a team. Those words are kind of used interchanged in Microsoft land. It shows you how to add a group calendar to your team calendar. Basically, you have to go to the web version of Outlook, go to calendar, find your team listed under the groups label, and you copy the URL, and then you add the calendar to your teams from there. It's about a 3 or 4 step process, but that web link that I just sent will walk you through that process.
Okay. Okay, so we went back up. So we did and answered Selena's question. Okay, Selena had another one. Is there another way for me to bookmark or otherwise flag items I'd like handy within the team that the rest of the team doesn't see? Okay, so Selena, I think you're asking for a way to create like a bookmark just for yourself that your team can't see. No, yeah, it's in Teams, there's not a way to do that because it is all about collaboration. So if you wanted something private, that's something you would need to do. If it was a website in your browser, if it was a file, you'd need to do in your OneDrive. Okay.
We have a new question from Par Rawson asking if there is a bulletin board like feature in Teams. There is. There are hundreds and hundreds of apps for Teams, similar to like your iPhone or your Android that you can add. And I'm putting in a link to one of those right now. It's actually one of the apps that you can add to Microsoft Teams that is a bulletin board app that lets you post things like you would on a real life bulletin board inside your Teams. There's also a whiteboard feature, which is different than bulletin board, that's native to Teams as well. And Bill is asking a question about private channels. Yeah, just to make that clear. So when you open your Teams app, you see various teams that you may be a member of, and each of those teams has members. And only the members in that team can see posts or files. It's basically if you're a member of the team, then you can see everything. The only caveat is if someone has created a private channel, which on the screen you're seeing right now are those listed. The channels in this example on the screen right now are those you see in that column where it says Flintstone testing and training, Teams migration, Teams tips and tricks, and website content. Each of those are channels. Now they can be public channels, meaning everybody in the team can see it. And the reason for using a public channel or a non-private channel is maybe you have a big project going on for that team and you have many projects going on. Well, you can create a channel for each of the projects and keep all the files and posts that you're doing relative to that project initiative inside that channel, but everybody in the team can still see it. The other option when creating a channel is you can make it private. And when you do that, it asks you specifically, as Bailey's showing you here, it'll ask you specifically who you want to have access to that private channel. And the only people you can add are people that are already a member of the team. So we've had examples in the past. For example, when we did our IT audit last year, we had 3,000 documents we wanted to share with the system auditors. Well, all those documents were in a team that my engineering team had access to, but we wanted to easily just share these documents to the auditors without having to copy them to them and move them somewhere else. So since all the files were already in a channel, what we did is we added the system auditors to our team and then added them into that channel so they can only get really access to that private channel. There's a way just to share the private channel from a team to external users. And so we were able to share 3,000 files with people that aren't even a part of AgriLife from inside a private channel. So private channels are, again, only accessible to the members you've given specific access to. In this case, Bailey has given me, Jill, and herself access to this private channel she created, or the Fred Flintstone testing channel, even though my entire department has access to the team AgriLife Information Technology. Only us three can get into that private channel. It won't allow anybody else in.
And that could go back to Selena's question about the private files. You could technically create a channel that just has a private channel that is just has you were the only one that has access to.
And while that's an odd case, the alternative to that would be if you have files that only you want to access, OneDrive is where you need to put that. And OneDrive is, if you'd show that real quick, Bailey, OneDrive is accessible through Teams. So in the Teams interface, you can go to files over in the far left area and you'll see OneDrive. So these are Fred Flintstone's OneDrive files. They don't show up in a team anywhere, but it's just another view to get to OneDrive. So if you like working with teams and you've got your own private set of files you want to work with, just from a efficiency standpoint, we would say put those in OneDrive. Whereas a team or a channel in a team is by nature always it's where you put things you're always sharing with a group of people. There's nothing really in teams other than private channels where you isolate down to a smaller group of people where you're ever just working on something alone. The whole definition of teams is teams, collaboration. So if you have something that only you need access to or you are using, that's more of a OneDrive thing.
Okay. Let's see if we missed any of the other questions. I think we got them.
We still have 10 more minutes, so if you have questions, feel free to ask. Bill asked, how about migrating files from Teams to OneDrive? So there's a couple of ways to, if you've got files in Teams and you want to move them to OneDrive, one method, depending on how many you're talking about, one method would be to download individual files, and Bailey, you can demonstrate that with one of those, one of the team files if you want. Go back to the team. One way would be to download the file and then just drag and drop it into your OneDrive folder on your local workstation if it's just a few. If it's a lot, say you've got 100 files in a team and you really just want to put them in your OneDrive folder, I would recommend you sync that folder from Teams to your local workstation. And once they get synced, then you can copy them on your local file workstation over to your OneDrive folder. So basically you're telling Teams to put them on your local hard drive, and then you just copy them to OneDrive, and then you can delete those that you synced, which then would correspondingly delete them from the team.
Oh, it's probably still syncing.
It's similar to the process we're telling people that have used Syncplicity. As you all may know, if you're a Syncplicity user, the system contract is ending in December, and anybody that used Syncplicity, we're advising them to convert to OneDrive. And people are asking, well, how do I do that? Well, you can go to Syncplicity. If you don't already have your Syncplicity files synced to your workstation, you can go tell it to do that. And once they're synced on your local workstation, you can simply copy those folders over to your OneDrive folder on your workstation, just real quick. And that basically takes all your files you had in Syncplicity and moves them or copies them over to OneDrive. And once you're done with that, or once that process is completed, you can go delete the Syncplicity files on your hard drive and clean your hard drive back up. Because once you moved them over to the OneDrive folder, you've got a copy on your local workstation, but OneDrive also started syncing it to the cloud, so you've got that copy in the cloud as well. Bailey's put in a link, a how-to guide on that process. We have a question about OneDrive, not OneDrive versus Google Drive. So the unique thing about OneDrive versus Google is OneDrive is integrated with all your Microsoft Office apps and Teams. Google is not. Google just lives on its own. You can access it through your web browser, a mobile app, or your Google folder on your hard drive. There's really no interactivity with files from Google you can open a Word doc from Google, don't get me wrong, but you can't do all the things that I demoed a couple of weeks ago on one of our training events about file collaboration, which I would encourage you to go look at. And Bailey, if you'd put the link up for our past training events real quick. And in that demo, I showed dozens and dozens of really unique, highly efficient collaborative file techniques you can use within Office 365. And the common denominator is you have to have your files either stored in Teams or stored in OneDrive. If you don't have them shared in any of those two places, you're missing out on hundreds of efficiency and collaboration things you could be doing. Google's, I'm not trying to diss Google, but they're really based off of an early 2000s model, and they really haven't progressed it since then. As Bailey mentioned at the beginning of this presentation today, Teams and Office 365 is a huge ecosystem, and everything's connected to everything. I can access a file from anywhere in the world very quickly at any time on any device, and you'll get that from the demo that I did a couple of weeks ago that we recorded. So encourage you to go watch that. I mean, there's simple little things like, you've been working on Word docs for 2 or 3 weeks, and you're like, I can't remember the exact file name of a file I worked on 6 days ago. You can simply go to your Word icon in your tray down here, and it will show you the past files that you edited. And you can do that on any of the applications. Of course, this is a demo, so we don't have a lot of files, but if I did this on my system, right here, it would show about 40 or 50 files up the page that I've recently opened. Another unique thing is in Teams that I went over in that demo is if you go to Files and Teams and you click on Recent, it'll show you all the recent files you've touched with any Microsoft application, whether it was Word or Excel or a OneNote file. And so the file on top is by default, the last one you open from any app on any device. If you have a laptop computer, a mobile device, a tablet, it doesn't matter what file you edited when or where on what device, it always shows up here. So I use this a lot because I go through a lot of files a week and I need to skip back and forth back to another file. The other technique I use is jumping down here and getting to the file I last accessed. Any other questions we can answer? We've got a couple more minutes left. And I just want to mention too, what Bailey noted in the presentation earlier is if we encourage people to go and tinker around in Teams and OneDrive and the applications. Pick a fellow employee that you work with, and do test chats, do test collaborative file editing. Before you really need to do it, if you have a few spare moments, get with someone and say, hey, let's go work on an Excel file together and see how that works. Just by trial and error, you'll learn a lot really quick. I'll be frank, the thousands of things I know about Teams and Office 365, I've just learned them by tinkering around, finding an hour here or there, and playing with the different functions and features, not on files that are important, but, little test files, and calling a fellow colleague in the department saying, hey, I'm trying to test something in Teams. I'm going to call you. Let's test this feature. It's really the best way to learn. But having said that, we do have a lot of training materials on our website. And Bailey, if you would post that link under our training section, especially if you're from our college and you're just now migrating into this environment, we have a new user guide for you if you weren't aware. And we encourage you to look at that because it kind of steps you through some of the basics first and then gradually takes you to some of the more advanced features that you can use to make your job faster and easier, at least in terms of collaboration through text and video and files. Well, with that, I think we do our last little plug, Bailey, on our upcoming events real quick. And I'll do a shameless plug on mine real quick. So Yeah, so it's next week, right?
Yep, next Tuesday.
So next Tuesday on June 29th, I'll be doing a special presentation on mobile Office 365 functionality on a mobile device. I'll actually be sharing, thanks Sylvia, I'll be sharing my phone screen live to you, and I'll go through various Office 365 applications like Teams and OneDrive and some of the applications like Word, etc., and let you just get a taste of what you can really do on a mobile device. It's quite amazing what you can do these days, especially using Office 365. My mobile device is literally as fully functional as my workstation in the office. So I can conduct meetings, I can share documents, I can collaborate with documents with others in real time, take my phone calls from my office because we use Microsoft Phone Service. Just anything I can do in the office, I can do on my phone. So that's what next Tuesday will be about. And then finally, on July 1st, we'll be doing a walkthrough of our TechBuy offering. For those of you who may not know what that is, AgriLife basically has our own Best Buy store internally. And we have an online website where you can buy your computers, peripherals, basically anything used kind of in your office space. And we'll walk you through how to make an order. We'll actually show a video of how a computer is put together in a matter of just a few hours, and how we're able to get that computer to you either with next day or within a couple of days after you place your order. So if you have a new computer purchase or technology purchase you need to make for your job here with AgriLife, be sure to tune into that, and we'll show you just how easy that is and how efficient and how cost saving it is.
And remember, if you had to if you missed anything in today's, I will have the recording for today up by this afternoon, and all of your questions that you've asked in the chat, I'll put those up and the answers for y'all on the site, same place. I will be sending an email out this afternoon asking y'all to complete a short survey. It takes literally less than 2 minutes to complete. That kind of helps us develop and adapt our content to what y'all need, as opposed to us just going, okay, we think this is what they want from us training wise. That actually lets us know what y'all actually need help with, so that we can do more sessions like this, and they're geared more towards what y'all actually need. They're targeted. So if there is nothing else, then y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.